Oh, hey guys. Welcome to another episode of Market Pulse. Actually didn't realize I clicked the live button. Good thing I was ready. And I know it's a little late in New York. Sorry about that. Was out to lunch. Had a great lunch. Had a little bit of sushi. So that was great. Shout out to Simon for taking me out to lunch, and shout out to Oz for taking me out to an awesome steak dinner with his girlfriend the other night. And shout out to Diego for picking me up at the airport and then also grabbing some lunch that day. So awesome, being treated very well here in Melbourne. It's cold again, damn it. Like, I keep wanting to do this from outside because I have a beautiful balcony and a view of downtown Melbourne, but maybe this weekend the weather will be better. I wanted to do a video right now because I don't think I'll be able to do a market video over the next few days. So tomorrow, the law review is coming back. So we're going to do that episode. And that will be Thursday for most of the world. And on Friday, I'm going to do, or is it Saturday? Right. So on Friday for most of the world, you're not going to get a video because I'll be teaching my workshop, which is on Saturday because I'm in Australia. So I'm way ahead of everyone. It's already like 4:30 in the afternoon on Thursday for me. I think today's Thursday, but my computer is on New York time, so it's also Thursday in New York, but in the morning. Yeah, so it's Thursday for me. But Ugly Old Goat is coming on my channel on Saturday, which will be my Sunday, so I can do the show. So will be him and I will talk markets, but you may not get a market video for a while. All right, so with that note, let's go to screen share. We only got about 180 live viewers right now. Let me pull out the live chat. Corey, if you can do questions again, that would be absolutely sweet. Let me grab this one. I'm not as efficient today as I normally am. Actually, no, this is about as efficient as I normally am when I don't have Leah to help manage some of this stuff. Hey, Nick, thanks for joining me, man. And Sasha, damn, when do you guys sleep? Because New York, East Coast is kind of late. Yeah, I'm gonna do full screen share. I'm not gonna dox any of my retirement accounts this time, so it doesn't matter. Though actually, if I do application, you see more. So let me switch real quick. I'm gonna switch the screen share real quick because in application you get to see a little bit more of the screen. There we go. Because you don't see the stupid bar. Thank you for the tip, JM something. Corey will grab your comment or question for me. All right, let's do it. Unconfiscatable conference. I just refreshed the page. Let's see how many seats we got. 43 seats left at this price, and then it'll probably go up. Haven't yet decided by how much. We'll figure that out later. And yeah, so check this out. Still working on getting some more players. Graphics are going to get updated a little bit. The carnivory dinner registration is going to hopefully show up next week. We're down to 33 people at the moment. I opened it up to like maybe 50 or 60 general signups and saving room for the celebrities. Hopefully we'll get some of them, you know, the speaker list. That's it. Working on a few sponsors. If you are a legitimate Bitcoin company, because this is a Bitcoin, not blockchain conference, feel free to reach out and we'll consider it. Right now, just have some event partners, mostly friends of mine, and those that are involved in the event. Other than that, hey, sponsors are available, but if we don't have sponsors, we don't have sponsors. That's fine. The ticket sales should cover all the costs. And the tournament is a legit tournament organized by the casino with a poker tournament director. And there is absolutely no profit from this tournament going to me or Unconfiscatable LLC. This is a non-profit tournament. So there will be prize money for the winners. There's profit for you if you win. There's no profit for me as the organizer, unless I win. I have to beat Doug Polk. That'll be fun. I'll do my best. All right, let's oh, wait. I know this thing is getting like longer now. If you guys like my channel and you want to support all of this free content, please use the affiliate links if you're going to sign up for BitMax, TorGuard VPN, TradingView itself for a paid account, or you're going to want to trade options at Deribit, or if you're going to do your Amazon shopping, please click on one of these links and go for it. And my workshops, oh, Tampa is on. It will be added. Tampa is a go. It'll be the weekend after Aruba. The weekend after Aruba is Tampa. That is a go. It'll probably be on Saturday. Registration is coming soon. And that's how I make it back to New York. I'll go from Chile to Aruba to Florida to New York by Christmas. Okay, that's it. We're done. News, since we're not doing a news show anymore. This is all over, you know, man, the gold bugs are just having a field day. Oh my God, this is like feeding their conspiracy theories like to the nth degree. My goodness. So let's read the headline. Former JPM. Am I showing the wrong thing? Is my screen share wrong? Huh. That's weird. That's weird. There you go. Sorry about that. Registrations for workshops, affiliates, Unconfiscatable conference. There you go. There you go. 43 tickets left at this price and 33 seats left for the poker game where there is prize money involved. Done. Article. This is the headline that is feeding a frenzy in the crypto space and especially in the gold space. Let's read it and then we move on to the markets. Former JP Morgan trader pleads guilty to manipulating US metals markets for years. This is such a misleading headline. Pleads guilty to 1 count of commodities fraud, just one. Remember, Bernie Madoff was charged with like 140 counts of fraud. And 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud, which is money transferring, price manipulation and spoofing. Okay, let's read. 13-year JP Morgan veteran said that he learned how to manipulate the markets from senior traders. Let's move on. Nothing important. We know all this. As far as the plea, he said from 2009 to 2015, he conspired with JP Morgan traders to manipulate the prices of gold, silver, platinum, palladium future contracts on exchanges run by the CME group. Him and others routinely he and others routinely placed orders that were quickly canceled before the trades were executed. A price distorting practice known as spoofing. For years, John Edmonds engaged in sophisticated schemes, futures of price spoofing. And that's it. So I have a question for the authors of the article and potentially those that attended the trial. So 1 count, well, where is it? Okay, so the wire fraud is not manipulating the gold price. 1 count of commodities fraud, just one, okay? Now, manipulate prices, right? So that's it. That's it. 1 count of fraud, and that is spoofing. So he would place orders to spoof the market, and like the high frequency trading, like the orders that you see in Bitcoin space, right? You throw a trade on, you take it off. This is not a 15-year government and conspired conspiracy to suppress the price of gold. This could have been done on any asset, and it's irrelevant to the price of gold itself. He's not manipulating the price of gold. He's trying to have an unfair, illegal advantage to profit from a trade. He could be profiting from down moves. He could be profiting from up moves. They don't care. They don't care. This is not the suppression of gold prices. I'm sure Andy Hoffman is going buck wild over this story. I'm sure Big Sweer is going buck wild. Jeff Berwick, buck wild. I can name them all. Peter Schiff, anyone that runs the company that sells you gold. Okay, it just happens to be easiest to do in the precious metals market. That's it. That's it. It's one count of spoofing. This is not a conspiracy to lower your price of gold. It's just not. It's just spoofing. It's a headline meant to, get all of the gold bugs riled up. It's not a big deal. Happens all the time, but it's illegal. Okay, it's perfectly legal in the Bitcoin space. It's just illegal in traditional markets. That's it. That's it. Don't make a big deal out of this. Even this should not be news. Like, it's not newsworthy. In fact, Terra Exchange, CFTC fine. So I remember Terra Exchange. Here it is. CFTC settles with Terra Exchange. So Terra Exchange back in 2014, I remember these guys. I was friends with the CEO. We used to speak at like some conferences. So Terra Exchange made headlines when they performed the very first Bitcoin swap contract. And the CFTC nailed them because they accused it of being a fake contract for press purposes. So basically, they investigated and they said this was the opposite of spoofing, right? So this is also illegal. And Terra Exchange got nailed. I mean, I'm sure they fought it, where they said that, hey, we've done an investigation and we determined that the two sides of your contract were actually the same people. So this whole thing seemed to be a publicity stunt and not an actual legitimate financial transactions. Well, one party wanted the cash and one party wanted the Bitcoin. It was more like, an arranged deal. And Terra Exchange got in trouble for that, which seems a little petty, but, laws are laws. You don't like them, change the laws. So this is just, I'm sorry, I don't want to degrade spoofing, but it happens on all markets all the time, and it still happens in the traditional markets. The SEC does a terrible job of catching them. And in the Bitcoin market, there is no regulation for them, and there's no exchange that wants to monitor this. So this is not a suppression of the gold price. Okay, let's move on to real stuff. Real stuff. Let's glance at Bitcoin. I haven't looked at it from yesterday. So we're in the triangle. Okay, one more thing we should probably discuss. Let's talk about it. So in my last video, I spent a good 5 minutes adjusting the triangle. And I adjusted the triangle to create the maximum amount of room for the price to still wiggle within the triangle. And a lot of people, my fans included, looked at that as Tone is trying to justify his trade that is currently in a losing position. That is, I don't believe that is legitimate criticism. The reason why I'm adjusting the triangle is because we are getting into crunch time where the triangle is coming to an end. And I want to create the most optimal triangle possible. Like over here, when I entered the trade, it didn't really matter the upwards down sloping line of the triangle, it didn't matter where it was. It didn't matter if on today's candle it was at 64.53 or at 68.52 where I have it now. It was completely irrelevant as to where that line was, because we still had plenty of room and we were way below that line regardless. So it didn't matter. And when I was drawing this triangle before, I just loosely drawn it. But as you get closer and closer to the end, every dollar matters. This is why Tyler Jenks tries to create the most perfect hyperwave line when the price starts approaching that line, because it's irrelevant where this down sloping line is when you're not next to it. But now that we're coming to the tip, I want it as perfect as possible, but I have to stay within the rules of the triangle. And the only complaint that you can critically have is that there's a little bit of a gap here between my line and the top of this candle. That is probably the only legitimate criticism. And I can try and eliminate that gap, and that means I give myself less room. If I move it back one day and I maybe slide this up one notch, unfortunately, by doing that, I have to move it back one day again. I think I will do this. I gave myself a little bit less room. I'm actually less comfortable with this. I want to give myself more room. I'm not just a little bit more room. I want this to take its time. I'm going to put this back for 2 more days. Maybe I can raise it a smidge or lower it a smidge. No, raise it a smidge. And if I lower this, again, as it gets towards crunch time, I need the most perfect triangle. I'm cheating either way by the smallest of margins. Either my candle closes above the line, or my candle closes below the line here, or doesn't peak into the line. So I'm going to split them. I'm going to do my best to cheat a little bit in both directions. And I think this is reasonable enough. I closed above the line by, I don't know, $10 or $20. And I missed the line by, I don't know, $10 or $20. But this touched it perfectly, and these came up short. But now I just gave myself more room for the price to just wiggle around inside the triangle. There's nothing wrong with this. In fact, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Like the closer you get to, the closer you get to fight night, because I think this thing is going to move one way or another, and I want to just give it a few more weeks. This is irrelevant for my trade, because my trade has a stop loss way above this line regardless. So it's really irrelevant. It's irrelevant even for the moving average. The moving average is still clearly above the downward sloping line. So no matter where I draw it, no matter what the $10 or $20 variation is over the next few weeks, it'll always be below the moving average line. In order for me to admit that the triangle has not broken to the downside and is breaking to the upside, at the minimum, I need to close above my stop loss. My trade has to be liquidated, okay? That's how much room I'm giving this trade. Okay with that. And we'll analyze it as we go. Here's the daily line. So we bounced up nicely yesterday and we pulled back today. And that's, we're still on track to reach a 9 on the daily 2 days from now. So the daily is not very interesting. If I zoom out the daily, I continue to say that the daily will touch the bottom side of this channel. That can happen tomorrow at approximately $4,800, or that can happen sometime in late February 2019 at current prices. I don't know which one it is. I'm leaning towards, something in between, late November at 5,000, but we'll see. We will see. Oh, wait, I should probably put a mic on me. Hope the audio was good. All right, next. I do want to get to traditional markets. I'm dying to see what happened because I woke up, I didn't look at the computer, I was answering messages, and then I went out to lunch. So we're going to look at the markets together, of how it closed. What is this chart? Why is it daily? It should be 12-hour chart. Here's a 12-hour chart. The 12-hour chart may or may not give you a 9. The next candle will be key. I'm expecting this candle to close at an 8. And if the next candle can trade at current levels or above, you'll have that 9. Now, this is a 9 below the setup trend line. This is a 9 that is ripe for a reversal. I will wait till tomorrow to make a judgment call. If the market goes up in the next 15 hours and my 9 closes at the high, strong above the setup trend line, I will be bullish into the weekend. If the 9 is weak, I will be bearish into the weekend. Right now, you're just watching. There's no trade here. You're just watching. Interesting. There was a 9 on the 1-hour chart, 4-hour chart. This is the 9 I was expecting. This is a crappy 9 to trade, 9 that didn't hold. And if it was at the high with the reversal candle, you can assume that it's going to go down, at least for 1 to 4 candles. It was a 9 on the way down. I would say this is a shorting opportunity below the lows of these candles. And right now, that short trade would be kind of a little bit profitable, but you're being held by the moving average. And but the 12-hour is looking bearish-ish. Still got to wait for 12 more hours. We're going to wait and see. This might give you a 9 to the downside, but unfortunately, that could mess with the 12-hour 9. The ducks are not exactly lined up right now. We had a beautiful back test of the triangle, so I can extend a green line here, a green trend line. I don't have to make it that thick. I can extend this. And look at that beautiful back test. Picture perfect back test. Now, usually, oh, and by the way, I don't remember when I did my last video at this point, but for those of you that paid attention and learned the triangles, this is a borderline triangle, right? Like that. Right? Remember, you have rules. You need 3 touches. 3 touches without closing over, right? So that's the original line. That's a touch. That's a touch. And that's a touch. That's a touch, and that's a touch, and that's another touch that finally broke. Now, you can do the same analysis here. Now, it broke down. It didn't fall far enough, and then it broke back above, and then it consolidated again, and then it finally broke down. So not great, not perfect, but certainly did the job. It did. Now, that's my bearish bias. My bullish bias would be a little, no, you can't really do. I was going to say you can maybe do a bullish pennant.
like that. Bullish pennant, maybe, and then it was supposed to break out to the upside, but it didn't. So it really does depend what you draw and how you draw it. This does look more like a descending triangle to me than a symmetric triangle. And if this did look like a symmetric triangle, I would have drawn this with the expectation of going up. But again, nothing is 100%. It's just probabilities. For the first time in a long time, not that long, so the pink line here is parity between longs and shorts. And as you can see, the amount of shorts, the amount of longs is greater than the amount of shorts right now. And it peaks on a 9. And let's see what happens. Now the conditions are ripe for a drop. Now they're ripe for a drop. We're not that different than my entry for the short play on leverage. Now I should probably look to exit my GBTC long. The GBTC long was not only a hedge of my position in the futures market, and my position in the futures market is a hedge for my ticket sales of unconfiscatable.com. So again, we're getting into the weeds of a professional trader. Not just, I'm going to guess that the price is going to go up, I'm going to guess that the price is going to go down. We're getting into the weeds of a professional trader. This is Tyler Jenks's expertise on sector rotation and hyperwave. This is Ugly Old Goat's expertise of basis and spread trading. This is, I have an expectation of where the price is going to go. But as a professional trader, ultimate, like high-level professional trader, having an expectation of where the prices are going to go is not even enough for me to enter a trade anymore. I either need arbitrage or hedge. I did both. I hedged my ticket sales with a short position in the futures market because of my expectation of where the price is going. I then ended up hedging that position with GBTC, even though it was only a hedge of 20%, which is why I'm pissed. I only bought 1,000 shares. I needed to buy 5,000 shares for a full hedge, or 10,000 shares to be a hedge with a speculative position. But the reason why I did the GBTC hedge of a hedge is because I had the added bonus of an arbitrage play for free money. So this is so hard to explain to anyone that did not have formal professional trading education. Now, this trading education doesn't need to be from a high, from your boss at JP Morgan as a trader. This education could come from years of studying on your own, YouTube, whatever, reading old books, things like that, right? Now, I never traded for a living at JP Morgan or Bear Stearns or other companies, but I spent over 10 years studying how to trade from professionals, whether directly or indirectly. So it's just hard. I'm sorry, guys. It's hard to explain how I have a hedge of a hedge. So my second hedge is in the same direction as my original thing I was hedging, which is ticket sales. But each one had their own nuances to make me money. Yeah, Ugly Old Goat just hides his face for fun. I'm pretty sure on my next video or the conference, you're all going to see his face. You also saw him in the video from the cruise in a debate, from the Roger Ver videos. He was one of the guys in the front row. Also, we were introducing him as ugly old goat on the cruise. So he hides his face for fun. Okay, so let's move on. The GBTC trade. I'm actually curious where it's going to open. It would be nice to make $1 on this trade because I got in at exactly 690. I showed you guys my position. I was pissed that I only did 1,000 shares and not 10,000 shares. I wasn't going to go higher than 10,000 shares. 10,000 shares was as high as I was going to go on this trade. But I was live streaming at the time and I couldn't do it. So let's see where it opens. It looks like Bitcoin is pulling back. It looks like GBTC might pull back, but I'm hoping the premium will pull through because this is probably terrible trading, thinking that the SEC was going to say something, but they're not going to say anything. So I'm hoping the premium will push this up to like $7.90 or $8, even though the price of Bitcoin is going down. And then I will exit that trade with a profit. And then I'll wait for another opportunity to arbitrage GBTC. Or I just wait for my futures position to be profitable, and that's a hedge of my ticket sales. Or I convert my ticket sales into fiat, and then I can drop the short trade. But all of this trading is happening because of my bearishness. Like, we got to do an episode. Damn, I think me and Tyler are going to do an episode. I think when my trade, my futures trade is over, whether that trade itself makes money or loses money, I will make money. Like Tone Vase. See, what you guys don't understand is trading isn't always about picking a direction. I am retired from directional trading. I trade to make more. When I do a trade, it is to I need like a 90% guarantee that I will be richer when the trade is over. And I guarantee you guys that when this trade is over, I will be richer because I also hedged it with GBTC, right? And I take on these trades very rarely, only because the opportunity was there. Okay, the trade itself, it's hard to explain. Trading is not easy. I might exit GBTC later this week. I will keep you all posted. So that's the premium. You see, the premium went up, and I was able to get in right there. Again, that's the premium. The premium went up. I couldn't get in at the very bottom, but I got in right after that. And the premium's rising. It's back to 15%. Ethereum, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens this week. B-Trash, B-Trash, B-Trash. Didn't make it to a 9. You know, we gotta do a show. I mean, 7 days till cluster F with an asterisk hits the fan. I can't wait. I want to see the fallout. I don't even know who's fighting who in this one. Man, I really wanted this to go to parity. It hit a 9. This is the Bitstamp versus Bitfinex premium. It hit a 9. It's on a green 2. Looks like Tether is about to, you know, I really want this thing to be at parity. I don't want to move all my charts over to Bitstamp. And then the moment I do, Bitstamp is going to, I don't know, sell itself to a gaming company. Oops, that just happened already. S&P. Ooh. So do you see what happens when the okay. So, Jesus, God damn it, mass media. So, bam. I am bullish the markets. However, there's a however coming. We're probably going to hit a 9 tomorrow. We're probably going to pull back. We need to break above this high, and we have not yet. Once we pull back a smidge, and I really hope we have a 9 and then pull back for 1 to 4 candles. Let the people digest the election, okay? The Democrats did not get the House and the Senate. This means Trump is not getting impeached. This means the market can go back to new all-time highs. That's it. That is it. Sometimes it's the Occam's razor principle. The simplest explanation is okay. Now, 90% of media in the US is leftish. So they overhyped the Democrats and the markets panicked. And now we're going to go back to normal. As of right now, I have confidence that the stock market will make new highs before Bitcoin does. And I said this even at the low. Even at the low, I said it. We have now price flipped. The weekly S&P did not even make it to a 9. It did not make it to a new closing low. It did not make it to a new swing low. And we are back above 2 moving averages and way above the 3rd. So I'm assuming, based on Tyler's trading method, he would wait for this week to close, and then he probably should be at least 50% invested in the stock market, if not 70%. Oh wait, let me do the math here. I think he's going to be 70 or 85% invested in the stock market. And once we get in the vicinity of new all-time highs, he will be 100% invested. Because if we get it back to $3,000, I'm pretty sure the market is going finally hit my Fibonacci extension. And you know what? It's possible that it can do it this year. It's possible. It's possible. Because once we get back above 2,900, the stock market FOMO is going to start. So there you go. I do need this week to close, and I need a green 2 above a green 1, and then it's all systems go. I might put the rest of my, because the earnings season's over, so I may put all of my retirement money into the stock market, but I need to decide which one. Is it going to be tech? Is it going to be the Dow, or is it going to be the S&P? The Dow should be leading. The NASDAQ should be lagging. But once sentiment flips, the tech companies could catch up. Now, this could actually have a bit of an issue with sector rotation, because sectors have already started to rotate. Hey guys, sorry about the morning briefs. We just can't get everybody together. It's between me being in Australia, Giacomo being a little bit sick, Jimmy is very, very busy finishing his book, and Leah just switched apartments, and she's really, really busy building the new website and organizing the workshops and their webinars and taking on new clients. It's just that we all got really, really busy at the moment. I promise you the daily briefs are coming back. It's just maybe it'll have to wait till early next year or something when I'm back in the States and the Unconfiscatable conference is over. We all still like each other generally, and it's just very, very tricky right now based on time. Like, I'm willing to stay up till 2, 3 in the morning here on the East Coast of Australia to do a morning brief, but I just can't get everybody together. It's a challenge. It's a real challenge. Now, this looks great. Where's my daily chart of the S&P 500? Oh, I'm not typing it in the right place. SPX daily. I like the futures because it's telling me that right now people are taking a little bit of profit, but that's normal. That is a very strong candle. I expect this candle to be green by tomorrow morning. Wow, what a beautiful, beautiful candle. And look at my arrow. If we can break above this moving average tomorrow, oh boy. Now, there is a 9 coming on a daily, and there is a 9 coming on a, oh no, there's no 9 on a weekly, just a 9 on a daily. Now, yeah. So there'll be a little bit of a break. As I was saying, everyone was making fun of me. They all make fun of me, how I did not see a bear market in the stock market and how I was bullish with the stock market. And this is just a small little correction. Now, remember, we can still, this could be a bull trap, okay? For those of you that remember, I got caught in this bull trap because I was bullish. I was bullish on this day. I was still bullish on January 7th. I was no longer bullish on January 8th. I was very cautious on January 9th, and I became a bear on January 10th, okay? But I was bullish here in this run-up, right? But I was bullish at this point, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that decision. So let's see if the S&P gives you another bull trap, because what you guys have to realize, is that if this is a bull trap right in this area that sends the stock market crashing, you can recognize it a week later. But if you think this is a bull trap and the market is going to crash, you would have assumed that here and 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 here, like all the way up, you would have been. And this is the problem with the gold bug community, that to them, the stock market is imminent to crash. And if it goes up, it's manipulation. And gold is imminent to rise. And if it doesn't, it's manipulation. What do you do? Well, what do you say to that, right? So I will, now this is a little bit more cautious. We have Consensio telling us to be careful, but let's see what happens in a couple of days. Okay, so I was trying to get cobalt and nickel through Quandl, but for some reason, I can't get anything from Quandl, so that's not working. I have spent the last, I spent all day yesterday and the day before. As you can see, I have a giant list of currencies, and some of these currencies are, all right, come on, are not your typical currencies. What is this? Right, so why am I, oh, there it is. So I've been doing a lot of research on hyperinflation, and that's why I'm looking at these currencies like the Yemeni rial, Libyan dinar. So I've been putting together a slide for my presentation about hyperinflation since Bitcoin's existence, so this decade. And I've been looking at all of these crazy currencies. This is the Sudanese pound. And they get very, very interesting. Congo has this data. They don't have all the data. I would love to see like some kind of stats on North Korea, and even Venezuelan data is difficult to get. And all of that because this is what I did. So this was a chart that I found on the internet from the research done on all the hyperinflations that have taken place. And I used their criteria of what they define as hyperinflation. And I added all of the, not all, there's a couple of more African countries, like the Central African Republic, and I need some North Korea data and a couple of others. But this was a good, 20 hours of work trying to get the data and the research on hyperinflations in since this decade, because this is not an easy project, and it will be part of my very awesome presentation that I will do at Unconfiscatable. So working on it, work in progress. And what is this? I don't know what country that is. Angola. And I have my indicator turned on just for the hell of it. I probably don't need, numbers on every candle. I should probably make it cleaner. I don't need all of the numbers, And it was very interesting. India. So here is the Indian currency, right? And I just have it turned on as I go through them. So here is the Indian rupee. This is a weekly chart. Look at this beautiful 913 combo at the high on the weekly Indian rupee with the sequential 13, the following candle on the swing high itself. Like how do you not take this seriously? I mean, you can say, sure, but there was a 9 back here. Okay, but when it didn't reverse the market, get back in doesn't sell the rupee, and this is where you can kind of buy the rupee because it's dollar in terms of rupees. And if you zoom out to the monthly chart, I don't know what I'm going to see. Come on, calculate. Oh my God, this was not pre-planned, right? It's just whenever I get a 9 on a monthly, weekly, or daily, I try to see how clean of a trade it could be across multiple time frames. So you can see how the monthly gave you a 9 in October, and the weekly gave you a 9 in October, in the beginning of October, week 1, week 2, 3 of the 4 possible red arrows are there. 3 of the 4 possible red arrows is there in 2 consecutive weeks. And now we can go to the daily. So we're looking for a daily 9 somewhere between October 1st and October 15th, right? The first 2 weeks of October, because we know October is the month to get out. Now you know which weeks to get out in. And let's see if there's a 9 daily between October 1st and October 15th. And there it is. So I don't know how far we're going to zoom in here, right? So literally, the sequential system told you which month the rupee can top. It told you which 2 weeks inside that month it could top. The daily told you that on the second week, on October 11th, you had a 9. So you literally picking the 10-year high that corrected simply off the sequential system or this quarter. We can go further. We could try the 12-hour chart. I've never tried 12-hour chart. I mean, as far as FX is concerned, I've never zoomed in further, right? Like, I don't know if the 12-hour was any better because there's only 2 candles within October 11th, but we can try. So let's go to October 11th and see if there is, no, so the 12-hour gave you a 913 on October 4th and nothing really on October 11th. Let's see, but still within the 2-week window. Let's see the 4-hour chart. And again, we're looking for October 11th. So the 4-hour chart gave you a combo 13 on October 9th, didn't really help you to get out at the top, but it's the 1-hour chart that I'm really curious about. Which hour on October 11th could you have gotten out at? So we're going to do this. I'm going to use the go to button. Whoa. I don't want to go to 1992. So we're going to go to October 11th on the 1 hour chart. There it is. And there it is, literally at midnight UTC. At midnight UTC, at the opening candle of the rupee, there was a 1 hour 9 on October 11th. There was another 9 the 2 days earlier, but you had one more. You had 2 chances to get out at the high. The hourly 9 on October 9th, the hourly 9 on October 11th got you out. That is on a daily scale. On a daily scale, that got you a 9 on October 11th, your second go around, and on a weekly scale, that was the week of October 11th. That's that sequential 13 week, though you could have gotten out on October 7th as well at the end of the week. And the monthly scale told you to get out in October or get into the rupee in October, sorry, or somehow trade this thing for a profit. And we can look at the yearly chart as well, just out of curiosity. And the yearly chart is telling you that the rupee is going to keep depreciating. So this should be a short-term thing. The yearly chart is at a 2 of nine. After a 9, get out 2 years ago or get into the rupee 2 years ago. It had a 1 to 4 year correction, just one, and now we're back to new highs on the rupee, and it's not looking good for India. This is a pretty damn bearish chart on the rupee exchange rate long term. There's stuff in between like quarterly and stuff, but there's no reason why I'm focusing on the rupee. It was just beautiful from that perspective. I'm still on a yearly chart. We can go to the South African rand, is it? And not much history here, totally useless. The monthly chart of the rand is telling you, ooh, not good. See, nice 9 at the high back in 2015, followed by a reversal candle in a shooting star candle, and down we went. 9 at the low, did go a little lower, held setup trend line. Could be a 9 next month. Not much helpful. Again, I like the 9 at the high, 9 near the low. Let's go to Argentine peso. The Argentine peso tops on a 913. Again, coincidence? Who knows? But certainly something to pay attention to. Once again, you can say, hey, there was a 9 here, and the following candle, it kept devaluating. And you say, great, now it's ready for the countdown phase. And guess where this countdown phase ended? Right here on the aggressive. Now, there's still the sequential going on, but this is the weekly chart. We can zoom into the daily chart. Let's look at the monthly chart on the Argentine peso. And again, it tops on a 9 monthly. In August. So August is the high on a 9. The month of August, weekly, your high is, but that was August. Okay. On a weekly scale, it told you to keep going. So the swing high was in August, but the close high was in, oh, this is weird, right? Because this is September 24th and already started going down. So wait a minute. Oops, no, I don't want to go that far. Right, that was the 9, and that was the close next month, and that was the close month after, right? So they're not exactly in line, but they both closed the top reasonably well. So you had a second opportunity to, not to get scared of the peso and convert it all to US dollars at this point, because your peso is appreciating in Argentina for the time being. And if we look at this week, so this was a high on a monthly, this was a high on a weekly. So we're looking at the week of October 1st and the week of August 27th. If we go to the daily scale, October 1st and September 27th. Oh, what a surprise. In August, wait, let me go back here. Weekly. Let me get this straight again. Hold on. We're looking at the week of the month or the week of October 27th. Okay, so if I go to daily, so it's any day in August or the week of October 1st. So this candle is on August 30th. So the last day of August, it peaks on a 9. And on the first week of October, aggressive 13 is not the best indicator. Remember, the only 4 things can draw a red arrow, just 4. A 9 or one of your 3 13s. I think the aggressive 13 is the least useful out of the 4, but it's not useless. So there you go. You had a reason to be confident in the stoppage of peso's devaluation. Have I been going for an hour and a half? Shit. Wow. Okay, I need to get some work done. I have, haven't I? No, I started at 12:30. I've been going for an hour. But here you have 2 reasons. All right, and I'm not going to go into the hours. It's just like, it'll take me forever. What's IRR? Oh, Iran. The Iranian rial. Again, 9s everywhere because when you're just going straight up, not the sequential here is clearly not very useful, right? I mean, if your currency is not moving, then it's. But again, this was my hyperinflation work on the Iranian rial. The Russian ruble. Again, weekly Russian ruble tops on a 9 as well, right here on September 10th. We can glance at the monthly chart, see if the month of September gave you a 9. It did not, but the 9 could be coming next candle. Though it'll be tricky, it would need to go to a new all-time high. The monthly did give you a high back in 2016. So back to the weekly, we have a 9 at the high on the week of September 10th. And let's see if there is a day inside the week of September 10th that was useful. And there was a beautiful 9 reversal candle back in August. This is September. This is the week of September 10th, and you had 3 combo 13s: September 5th, 6th, and 7th. I think combo 13 is the third, the second useless. So I like the 9s and the sequentials, followed by very closely by the combo. Something better than nothing. The Ukrainian currency was looking very interesting. This is the daily look of the Ukrainian currency, the hryvnia. I can never pronounce it right. Beautiful 9 at the low, another 9 coming up at the low. Tomorrow, and consecutive candles. The weekly, here's the weekly look at the Ukrainian currency. And this worries me. So Like I think I tweeted this out in a reply. Look, every swing high in the Ukrainian currency on a weekly was confirmed by the 9 sequential. Like, you can't make this shit up. You just can't. 9 at the high, day after a reversal candle under setup trend. 9 at the high, 9 at the high, also 9 near the low, not as clean. 9 near the low, not as clean. 9 at the high, 9 at the high, and 9 at the high. But here's what bothers me. Probably the monthly chart would probably be enough candles there. The monthly chart is actually not as clean as the weekly chart. I want to go back to the weekly. It's just better. Here's what worries me. I really like Ukraine. I really do. Like, I want to spend my summer there because it's nice and warm. But here's a big but coming. That's a problem. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect triangle. It's not a perfect triangle. Nothing. But it's not looking good. And this triangle should not be red, it should be green, because it's a ascending triangle. It spikes. I mean, it's a volatile currency, right? Like, this is really, really sad, because it looks like the Ukrainian economy might have to devalue its currency some more, which is good as a European or an American, because shit is going to be even cheaper, and it's cheap there to begin with. But it's kind of sad for the people if they lose 50% of their savings again. So please, if you're in Ukraine, buy some Bitcoin, even if I think Bitcoin is bearish. Because this is scary to me. It's just scary to me. It's just a chart. I think Ukraine is great. I can't wait to go there again and spend time. But that is scary. It's not a perfect triangle. I'm fudging my rules a little bit, but like, this is I don't want this to happen, but that's what it looks like. Because this would be the devaluation of the Ukrainian currency once again. Turkish lira tops on a 913 combo. This is the weekly chart. Beautiful 913 at the high. Well, almost at the high, close enough. What week was that? I don't know. But let's see. No, nothing called a high, but you had a combo 13, one candle before the high. Good enough. 9 at the low, though. So get ready, the 1 to 4 days, and then we will reevaluate the situation because it's still a little bit bearish for a few more weeks, but it can already start to reverse and still give you that 9. I'm not going to look at Singapore dollars. They don't really change much. Brazil, I think people have been asking for Brazil. The Brazilian real got strength. It's strengthened over, since September 17th, probably since the election. It is starting to weaken again. This looks like a 1 to 4 candle correction, and it looks like the Brazilian real might strengthen as their economy strengthens, because of apparently their election. I have no idea who was running. I have no idea who won. All I can tell you is the stock market loves it, and the currency should probably appreciate in value. The Japanese yen, we're keeping a very close eye on this. Now, the Japanese yen looks like it's ready to devalue, and it's not looking good for the Japanese yen because you broke out of the symmetric triangle. Not a perfect one. Would have been nice to have one additional touch of the bottom trend line, but it is a clean breakout, and the Japanese currency is looking like it wants to devalue against the US dollar. The Euro Swiss franc, again, beautiful top on a 9 sequential 13, and I was looking for a little bit up and then down. However, this is neutral right now. Should probably delete these guys because I'm back to neutral. US versus Swiss franc. See the difference here? This tells me that the euro is weak because this looks weak against the US dollar. It looks like the US dollar is going to appreciate versus the Swiss franc. Canada tops on a 9 weekly, but now it's looking like it's ready to devalue again with the elections and stuff. And now the US dollar is back and the market's back. New Zealand is ready to appreciate. Okay, so this is where it gets tricky, right? Like up to this point, the US dollar is the front currency, but New Zealand, Australia, the euro and the pound, the US dollar is the back end currency. So now we're looking at New Zealand dollars in terms of US dollars. So in this case, if the chart goes up, that means that the currency is getting stronger, not weaker. The foreign currency is getting stronger, not weaker. So the New Zealand dollar is strengthening right now off of a 9 buy. Bottom came 1 candle later. Aussie, same thing. This is 2 weeks. And I should have done my conversion rate earlier. Not that it makes that much of a difference. We are talking like 3 cents per dollar or 2 cents per dollar, but it's the principle of it, right? Can you use charting to optimally do your exchange rate when you're going to that country? And the answer is, of course, you can. The pound is ready to also appreciate against the dollar. Like people seem to be very upset with me about my views on Brexit. My answer to them is deal with it. The pound bottomed on a 9 doji candle, and I'm still expecting the pound to strengthen over the next 10 years, while at the same time, I'm expecting the euro to weaken over the next 10 years. And that means that the euro versus the pound is going to be an outright disaster. I think that the British pound is going to blow the pants off of the euro over the next decade. Now, here is the euro versus pound exchange rate. And when this thing drops, that means that euro is becoming cheaper. And as you can see, we topped 1 candle off the 913, and we've made a 9 to the downside, breaking setup trend. Look for a 1 to 4 candle correction, and then probably going to keep going lower. And I do expect the pound to appreciate against the euro. I know it hasn't seemed this way in a long time. And when I was doing videos a year or two ago, I was watching this Head and Shoulders very, very carefully. Right here, right here. I think it was this one, or maybe it was the year after. Let me see. Was there another Head and Shoulders? No, that was probably it. I was watching this Head and Shoulders very, very carefully. And I thought that this was the secondary high, and the pound was gonna just this would drop, and that means the pound would greatly appreciate against the euro. That's what I was expecting then, and that's what I still expect now. Is just that the Europeans are making it, and the people inside Britain are making it very difficult for them to actually go through Brexit. I understand there is lots of complications, and they're all around bureaucracy. So when you're finally able to cut that cord with the European currency and the European Union, and you're able to, be on your own, I believe that the pound will strengthen, and euro is going to be in financial trouble because they are supporting states that are in huge debt that they can never pay off. All right, that was a long-winded currency discussion. I'm going to look at questions. I'm going to leave it there. All right, let's see your questions. Maybe I have to remember to turn it on. This is dangerous, but I'm going to do it. And of course, the first question asked me to look at the chart. Actually, I have a couple of questions from yesterday I didn't get to. Let me see. Tone, do you think the stock market is doing so well because of the Chinese companies' reverse merger and fudging actual profit margins once listed? No, I don't think the Chinese market has anything to do with the US market. And I'm not really, and the Chinese market, as far as I'm concerned, have been crashing. So I don't think this, I don't think this has any influence. I could be wrong. I haven't had time to do my research on this question. Next. A Zero Hedge article on the 6th talks about John Edmonds, who admits to manipulating precious metals. Oh yeah, I covered that this morning. Done with that one. All right, let's see. Here's from today. Let's see what that tipped comment was. When you have a chance in a video, would you be able to do an analysis on the Aeon Bitcoin chart? I don't know what Aeon is. I'm sorry, I should not have said the name. It's probably a scam coin. I don't want to look at it. I know you paid $5. I honestly just don't want to. You can email me and I'll send you a refund for your $5 donation. I don't want to look at shit coins I've never heard of. That is just, I feel scammy doing that, even for money. Next. Now that the shorts are lower, are we more likely to go down? Yes. Next question. Okay, no, same question. Next question. Is the monthly Bitcoin chart on a 9-buy signal based on spirit of the nines? I don't know. This I'll have to take a look at. Or you know what? Let me answer the questions that don't require charting, and then we'll do it. How is your October short? It's doing fine. Next. Are we having the dead cat bounce that Vincent spoke of? Well, I guess, I mean, it's always a dead cat bounce as long as it's a bear market. As long as it's a bear market, every rally is a dead cat bounce. You can have infinitely many dead cat bounces in a bear market until Van Zen admits we're not in a bear market anymore. Every rally is a dead cat bounce. Next. Is Tesla breaking out of an ascending triangle on the daily, and have we already pulled back enough from the green 9? Okay, so I have to look at Tesla and I have to look at the monthly Bitcoin chart. Next. Seeing as you have been researching hyperinflation recently, what chances do you think hyperinflation will come to the West? Almost none, like almost none. I think I see absolutely like less than a 1% chance that the US dollar is going to go into a hyperinflation in the next decade, like less than 1%. Now, we can talk about, see, the euro can't go into hyperinflation. You have to understand why that is. The euro cannot go into hyperinflation because the euro can break up into its member currencies the way it was in the 90s. So the euro can't go into hyperinflation. Once the euro breaks up into its counterparts, those counterparts can't go into hyperinflation right away either, because they're going to set the best rate. So, for example, the Italian lira will start significantly weaker than the German Deutschmark. The Greek drachma will start significantly weaker than the French franc. So once they break up, they're going to set a certain exchange rate. Then within the next 5 to 10 years, those currencies can go into hyperinflation. Kind of like if I go back to my hyperinflation chart, I know I'm not screen sharing. Like a lot of the Soviet Union countries, their currency went into hyperinflation soon after the Soviets broke up. And that's probably because they didn't properly set the exchange rate when the Soviet Union broke up, right? But that was the economic model that broke up. The euro is not exactly an economic model, it's a currency model. So that's different. But anyway, or they attributed the Russian ruble to those countries because they probably were pegged to the ruble. So it's, anyway, that's a weird situation. Okay, so, and that's it. Like, what are the other Western countries? Australia is a Western country to me from its economic model and political model. So we have Australia, we have Canada, we have all of Europe. I mean, those are the big ones, right? Maybe Japan, maybe. China is not going to hyperinflate anytime soon. I don't see it. I just don't see it. Now, remember, if the euro is going to break up into its subcomponents, people are going to be afraid of their own local currency. So they're going to go and buy the US dollar. So the euro breakup would strengthen the US dollar beyond belief because everyone's going to be rushing in to buy the dollars, okay? Or even the Canadian dollar or the Australian dollar. Hell, they'll run and buy the Chinese yuan and maybe even the Russian ruble, though I doubt that. They're going to buy the commodity country because the Russia's currencies is dropping itself. So they're not going to buy the Russian currency, but the Chinese one they will. Japan is Japan is tricky. I would not trust Japan. Oh, well, that's a very interesting question, KB, and it's right on point. Why doesn't money printing result in inflation in Japan and the US? But those are very different things, right? So the reason why money printing in the US doesn't result in inflation, because people around the world are sucking up those dollars, right? The US can't print money fast enough, right? The more money US prints, the easier it is for foreigners to access US money. And it's like the more money US prints, like the more US dollar is appreciating, because that means there's more US dollars slushing around the world. And foreign countries, like the ones that are currently hyperinflating, if there's more US dollars circling the world, it's easier for people in Venezuela to get dollars. It's easier for people in other countries to get dollars and dump their currency. So it doesn't matter how much money US prints. The US can print $10 trillion tomorrow. And all it will do is probably raise the value of the US dollar, because the world is going to absorb those dollars and dump their currency for the dollar, right? It's a weird concept that, again, gold bugs don't understand, that the world is demanding more US dollars. And they actually demanding the physical, the $100 bills, right? They're demanding the $100 bills. Like, you can't print $100 bills fast enough. The world will absorb them. Why doesn't Japan? I don't think Japan is printing that much money anymore. Japan is printing money and buying their stock market. So the money that Japan is printing isn't actually getting to the people. And by the way, the money that the US government printed during the 2008 financial crisis also never went to the people to cause any inflation. All that money went to the banks. The banks did not lend the money to the people, and the banks just put that money back at the Fed in order to earn interest from the Fed on that money. So all the money that was printed never actually made it into the economy. And that's why there was never any inflation. Okay. And if it did make it to the economy, if that money is accessible globally, then other countries are going to absorb it and dump their currency for the US dollar. Japan is a special case. I don't think Japan is printing all that much money, and the money that they're printing goes directly to buy stock market. Okay, so where were we? How did I get on this? Oh, do I see any hyperinflation in the West? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Doesn't mean it can't happen. It just means Tone Vase doesn't see it. Indonesian rupee. Huh. That's not on my list. Let me pull it up. I know I'm not screen sharing. USD or Indo. I guess it's IDR, right? Indonesian rupee IDR. No. Indo. Oh, I'm not in currency. Forex. Indonesian. Oh, it's not a rupee. Sorry, it's I can't pronounce it. But anyway, USD. Let me see what it looks like, and if it's interesting, I'll screen share. Oh, well, yeah, it's interesting. Let's do it. Oh, do you guys think we had a 9 at the top or not? I'm not making this shit up, guys. I'm really not. Here's your weekly Indonesian rupee. All right. There's your weekly Indonesian rupee. Now, the 9 comes in the week of October 22nd. And if I go to the daily chart, not great, but it was flat at the top. That's rare. That's not usually how things top. But you had a combo, a 9 that didn't stick, and sequential. But it looks like you are almost out of your short-term. Well, this is not misery, right? So your currency is appreciating. So it looks like, I don't know what, did you guys have an election as well and your currency is doing well because your businesses are going to do well? I don't know, but it looks like the Indonesian rupee is appreciating versus the US dollar. Here's the monthly look. Oh, wow. The monthly version also topped on a 9 in October. So beautiful, beautiful. And your currency has not done well since 2013 or 2011. You had a sequential 13 at the low back in 2011, back when the price of your currency was only $8,500 per $1 US dollar. And in the last 6 years, in the last 7 years, you have lost more than 100% of the value of your currency versus the US dollar. And this is why the dollar can't go into hyperinflation, because people are dumping their foreign currency, and it doesn't matter how much US prints. It just doesn't, until something bad happens to the US economy. until a pure socialist gets elected, until, you know, maybe the US will go full draconian on Bitcoin and innovation of a blockchain, and all of the smart people will leave America and go work somewhere else. For now, there's a big brain drain that people still want to work in America. People still want to work in Silicon Valley. About a year ago, I made a comment that got so many people upset. So I'm going to phrase it a little more carefully. I said something about Russia. And I said this like a year ago, and I had way less eyes on me. So if I say the same exact thing again, all hell's going to break loose. I basically said that because there is more corruption and less trust of the world, of the Russian markets, and people are afraid to start their businesses in Russia, that like the smart people leave and they become productive in other countries. Now, the way I phrased it before made it sound like people in Russia are not as smart as people in America. And that's not how I meant it back then either. That's not how I mean it today. What I mean is, if you are a really smart person living in America, you will probably build your business and you will stay in America. But if you are a really smart person in Russia or in China, there's a high probability you are leaving that country and starting your business in America as well. Even today, maybe that will change. Maybe that will change, right? But the question is, like, smart people usually have smart kids. Usually, not always, usually. Like IQ is transferable. Like it gets passed on through generations. So it goes back to the mean, but slowly. So the question becomes, like, the moment people could leave Russia during the communist days, like my family and other families, the smart people found a way to get the hell out of the communist country and into a capitalist country. And even right now, Russia isn't communist, it's capitalist, but it's, you know, still a little oligarchish, and there's still a brain drain going on, right? Like the smart people find a way to get out. Same thing with China. Like a lot of people start their businesses in China for whatever reason, but eventually but a lot of them start their businesses here. A lot of them go to Silicon Valley. A lot of them come to America to universities. You know, people like to knock America, but people still want to come here, okay? So it's the brain drain. Where are the smartest people, and their children are going to build their wealth? And as long as America is the leader in global sucking of brain function, we ain't getting no hyperinflation. All right, let's move on. I have to look at Tesla and I have to look at monthly Bitcoin. Let me get through the rest of the questions and then we'll probably call it a day. I have one last question. Given crypto market doesn't have a specific close time as opposed to stock or fiat, would it be wiser to view 12 and 6-hour charts? Good question, and we're going to get to it right now. So basically, this is why for a long time now, for the last 3 to 6 months, I've been saying how the 12-hour chart has been a lot better as a trading chart than the daily chart. I have found the daily chart to be very frustrating. In fact, the only other place to get your TD indicator besides TradingView, again, I will always take credit for introducing TD to the world of crypto. I'll take credit for that the rest of my life. I don't mind not being humble in that area. The TD on Bloomberg will look different, not because the code is different. It's because Bloomberg has a different end of day close. And because Bloomberg has a different end of day close, these numbers of TD are not matching up with Bloomberg's numbers of TD. Which one is more accurate? I don't know. I pray that one day there will be one standard price for Bitcoin, the way there is one standard price for Apple stock and S&P 500, and there is one standard end of day close for Bitcoin, so that everyone is charting the same way. Until that day comes, I remain in the belief that the traditional stock market is easier to trade with the sequential system than Bitcoin. Doesn't mean you can't trade Bitcoin with the sequential system. It just means that numerous people that have attended my workshops and have never traded traditional markets before attending my workshops, many of them now trade traditional markets, okay? Because they find them to be more structured. Okay, monthly charts and Tesla. I think I have a monthly chart of Bitcoin that I can't seem to pull up. BTC USD, I'm looking for a monthly chart. BTC USD monthly Mt. Gox, not useful. BTC, damn. Thought I had it. Thought I had one. Surprised I don't. Let me look at the description. If not, we'll make a new one. I gotta make a new one. So I'm gonna go to the index. This is the index on weekly scale. Oh, this is monthly. This is monthly. Oh, this is the spirit of the 9 because of this candle. No, it's not the spirit of the 9 monthly, because this candle is the July candle. I talked about this in a prior video. The reason why this is not the spirit of the 9 is because there's no ambiguity. The close 4 candles earlier is significantly lower than the close in July. And because it's significantly lower, the count was broken. The spirit of the 9 applies to this situation here, where the count was also broken by 1 in the August of 2013. But as you look, the close of August 2013 is almost identical to the close 4 candles earlier in May of 2013. In fact, they are so close together that on some exchanges, because remember, this is the index, this is the combination of multiple exchanges. So they are so close together that on Mt. Gox, Mt. Gox monthly, that on Mt. Gox, which was the leading exchange at the time that candle was formed, on Mt. Gox is a green 6 and not a red 1. You can see it here, the August candle. So the exchange, I don't know if I think they still have the most volume, I'm not sure. But so this is what the spirit of the 9 is about. When there is, when the prices are so close to each other that some exchanges have a green 6 and other exchanges and the index has a red 1, because the price is so close and it's a matter of literally 0.01% difference. That is what the spirit of the 9 is about. And that is why, had I been looking at this indicator or teaching this indicator back in 2013, which I didn't at the time, actually, I wasn't teaching at all at the time, I was trading. It was very clear there was a 9 at the high back in 2013 in November candle because of this candle here. Okay. And finally, we have Tesla. And then I think I'll be done. It's already 2:15 a.m. See, usually I do these things in the morning and then I have like shit to do, or I do them late in the evening and I want to go to sleep. But I'm in Australia and it's got to be like 5 p.m. I think it's 6 p.m. already. I think I'm going to skip dinner and just work the rest of the night, unless people from my workshop can really convince me for a good steak. US stocks. Tesla. This is Tesla monthly. Tesla monthly looks beautiful. Next month, you will have a green 2 above a green 1 in the vicinity of the prior 9 high, which should set you up for another leg higher. Tesla weekly is also in a bullish position, right? Look, Tesla weekly bottomed on a 9 the week of earnings, and a green 2 went above a green 1, and now we're on a green 3, near, not that close to the all-time high, but close enough. And Tesla daily, and look, your setup trend line held. I really don't like this 3-day. I want to drop it. It just annoys me. I never click on it, and it's just like there. I want to, yeah, do that. Yeah. So, and finally, Tesla daily. Daily looks beautiful, right? Look, 2 out of the 3 highs were marked with a 9, but this top, you had a 1 to 4 candle correction. The count did not flip. You're on a green 3, above a green 2, above the 9. Tesla is very bullish to me. And once Tesla can break, you know, as it breaks this zone, I mean, man, this looks beautiful. I mean, look, Tesla consolidated. This is a daily chart, right? I should go to weekly chart. I'm pulling back too much. See how Tesla consolidated, let's say from here. It consolidated between 2014, early 2014 into late 2016. So for 2.5 years, almost 3 years, Tesla consolidated. And then it broke out. And then Tesla, and this is what I mean. Like everyone talks about buying the dip, buying the dip. Buying the dip is one of the riskiest things you can do. You buy Tesla when it breaks to new all-time highs. Because when Tesla breaks to new all-time highs, you know, look how quickly you made all your gains. And now it pulled back to the all-time highs. And now once Tesla breaks new all-time highs again, it should go up all the way to like, I don't know, $520, or maybe it will, you know, split or something. Who knows? Who cares, right? So buying the dip is a strategy. That's fine. It's a dangerous strategy that's gonna that can wreck you. You really should be buying, like you can buy the dip when you're dip like this, when you have a 9 at the low. You can also sell the high when you have a 9 at the top. But what you really want to do is you want to trade the breakout. You want to trade, you want to buy this area. You want to buy that area, right? And then you want to try to get out at the top, though this one would have been difficult because the 9 told you to get out earlier, and then the combo 13 told you to get out earlier, and then your stop loss would have gotten hit. And that's okay too, because you still made money. All right, guys. So, hey, Unconfiscatable. Don't forget the Unconfiscatable conference going on in January 24th to 26th. Really cool celebrity poker game. We're going to add more pictures, maybe not to this page, but when you click on the registration for the poker game, there will be a page here with all the celebrities that are playing. The poker tournament is a self-sustaining, independent thing because there's no profit in the poker tournament to the conference. The poker tournament room and the dealers and the professional organization, that's an expense. And 1 Bitcoin, I think I plan to give 1 Bitcoin away to Bitcoin development somehow. Haven't decided yet how. And the rest will be given out as rewards and prize money for the winners or the top finishers. So if you are planning to play in a poker game, you will still need to buy a conference ticket if you want to attend the conference, because this is a conference so far with no sponsors, and it needs to also pay for itself. So sorry about that. The current price is 0.1 Bitcoin. Price will rise once the tickets are sold. VIP ticket if you really want to support what I've been doing. There will be workshops. Tyler and Leah are about to put out a registration form on their website. If you click on this, it will take you to Lucid Investment Funds. And but I don't think they have the registration ready. But maybe next week, their new website will launch. Same thing, Jimmy's is all ready for registration, and so is mine. Click on it, and you can register for the Las Vegas workshop. I'll talk more about that in the coming videos. And that's about it. These are my other workshops. Tampa is going to be added the weekend after Aruba. And if you guys enjoy this channel and you like my work, please support by using the affiliate links. If you are going to trade at BitMax or Deribit, buy a VPN subscription from TorGuard, or buy a charting subscription from TradingView. Here are my other affiliate codes. More will be added. And if you're going to do your Amazon shopping, please use one of these links as well. And don't forget to check us out on the audio stream. Audio podcasts are available. All right, guys, I think this went on almost 2 hours again, but I hope you got a lot out of it. And I will see you all probably in a few days, because tomorrow's the law show. And after that, I have to teach a workshop. So I'll see you all in a few days with my guest, Ugly Old Goat. Talk to you all in the next one, and good luck trading.